All right, what is up? We are live. Got the poll question up. Throwing it to y'all. Do you think Denny Hamlin in 2311 should have gone to Ford? So far, with 5 votes, 100% saying no. So I thought it was an interesting question to ask. I hadn't thought about it till the other day, but then I was thinking about it, and I was like, from the perspective of performance, you're already hooked in with Toyota. So performance wise, it's definitely the smart, safe move to make. You're gonna stick with Joe Gibbs, and as long as Denny Hamlin's driving for Joe Gibbs, I don't think that there's necessarily any need to switch. But from an interesting standpoint of, do you want to be your own team? Do you want to go out there and do your own thing? Would it have made sense to switch to Ford to sort of stand on your own 2 feet, knowing that possibly Stuart Haas is going to go away from Ford in the future? So I did think it had some merit, and definitely from just the storytelling, interesting. Being a YouTuber perspective, it would have been more interesting if he went to Ford. But definitely interesting. I hadn't thought about it the other day when I made the video about it. Anthony Leach was in here earlier. Hopefully, you'll talk about the internship program being revised tonight. I don't know if they're revising it or not. I haven't seen any extra stories about that or anything just yet. I think the only thing you really need to do to it is make it so it's equal for everybody, so that everybody gets an equal opportunity. I don't think you need to put quotas or anything like that. I don't think you need to exclude anybody, because I think if you give enough people the equal opportunity to get there, it will technically change on its own. Like, you won't have to have these quotas and stuff like that on there, because I think the barrier is clearly the money. So if you give enough people from common backgrounds, blue collar backgrounds, lower than blue collar backgrounds monetarily, if you give them enough of an opportunity money-wise to get there, I think the sport will change anyway. So that's just my thoughts on it. And some people just totally didn't get what I was saying in the other video. One dude literally agreed with every single point I made about it, and then he wrote cope, and I was like, dude, you just agreed with every literal word that I said, and then you told me to cope. So I don't know. It is what it is. Chrome Diesel, what's up? Good to see you in here. I hope Jimmy's having, Napa says, I hope Jimmy's having cheeseburgers in paradise at Margaritaville. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett, as well as the Smash Mouth lead singer for sure. Those were 2 hits. And they always seem to come in threes. I saw there was maybe a drummer or a bass guitarist from another band that I wasn't really familiar with. I wasn't familiar with his name. I don't know what band he played in. But it has done the thing where I guess celebrities in threes or whatever, if you're familiar with that. Shah says, Ahaya, so this diversity thing seems to me it should include persons of ethnicity, women, and poor. It should include everybody, everybody. Just make it an initiative to make everybody have an opportunity. Just give everybody a chance to get into the program and pick them off of their merit. Just make it a meritocracy, because if you make it a meritocracy, I think things will take care of themselves, because let's just be honest, they will. And the counterpoint that several people have made, you only hear it when it's one way, and you don't hear it the other way. You never hear people screaming that the NBA needs a diversity program or anything like that. So, fair enough. Let's see here. Mark Barnum saying Denny sucks. Denny is the new Kyle Busch, apparently, says Glockopoulos. He is Kyle Busch sans the championships, is what I would say about that one there, Glock. Denny should have retired or gone to his own cars. I would respect but now he's just a Gibbs stooge bootlicking, says Shah. I think he probably would have drove his own deal, but he seems to have a pretty good relationship with Joe Gibbs. So I feel like that's they seem to have sort of like a father-son type vibe. So there is I just put the merch in the comment section down there. So if you want to help the store with the merch, there it is before I forget. But he seems to have like a father-son type relationship with Joe Gibbs. So I just never saw Joe Gibbs getting rid of him. I don't think he wants to leave Joe Gibbs. I think he wants to retire with Joe Gibbs in the 11 and then become team owner when he retires. Brad K did the right thing. Yeah, Brad K seems to be the future of Ford without question. No doubt about it. Denny wishes he was Kyle Busch, says Shop. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. He's Kyle Busch as far as getting booed or whatever, but he does not have the championship. So I do want to throw that out there. KB might have been hated, but still sold a lot of merch, says Shaw. That's what I'm saying. Like, Kyle Busch was the ultimate villain. Like, he embraced the role and completely was just happy with it. Man, BB, them Devils came to play. Well-earned victory. No clue what Dabo was doing all off season, but he wasn't coaching discipline and ball control. Yeah, so Duke beat Clemson. This is the biggest win Duke football's had in multiple decades. Might be the highest ranked team they've beat since I've been living, so I don't know. But big win for Duke. I know you guys aren't here for that. But how often is Duke football going to do something? So I appreciate you with the comment there. So, yeah, I did want to say something about that as well. 2311 is number 2 with Toyota. Why go to a fourth tier 4 team? Yeah, that's a fair point, one wise guy. I agree with you 100%. Like I said, it makes sense if you really just want to go out and be your own team. And I think Denny might think about doing that when he retires and gets away from Gibbs. But right now, you're the number 2 Toyota team. And I think part of them entertaining Ford was to make sure that 2311 stayed the number 2 Toyota team and that Legacy Motor Club didn't jump over top of them as far as getting equipment. So I think that's part of what them entertaining the Ford deal was all about. I think it probably came to a fork in the road where maybe Toyota said something they didn't want to hear, and they said, well, you know what, we'll go talk to Ford if you don't want to give us what we want. And there you go. You see what happened. They got what they wanted. Maybe the deal was that Hamlin will be able to buy one of Gibbs' charters for a fair price when he retires. Charters may not be a thing then, but as of now, it doesn't hurt to plan for it. I mean, that could be in the negotiations as well. You never know. It's been a crazy, silly season. So I'm never going to say something wasn't going to happen, other than I knew 2311 was not going forward. Like I felt like that was never really an option. They used them as a bargaining chip. In between the lanes, what's going on? Good to see you on here as always. Wondering if Kyle Petty is going to keep banter going with Bubba Wallace. Yeah, so Kyle Petty had some spicy comments about Bubba Wallace and being mentally tough enough because he didn't want to do interviews or something. And Bubba Wallace shot back at him in the pre-race, I guess. Deegan came through the diversity program, says Mark Barnum. A lot of people came through the diversity program. So the diversity program started in 1999, and drivers and people are going to argue with this, but you can look it up. It's on Wikipedia. Juan Pablo Montoya came through it. Eric Almirola came through it. Kyle Larson came through it. Bubba Wallace came through it. Daniel Suarez came through it. Haley Deegan came through it. So, I mean, there's been a ton of drivers that have come through it. And you have champions that have come through it in Daniel Suarez in the Xfinity Series, Kyle Larson, obviously, in the Cup Series. So, like I said in the video, it has been an effective program. That's what I'm saying. If you make it an equal playing field for everybody to get a chance to be a NASCAR driver, you will be amazed at how many different people show up and are there becoming race car drivers. But I don't think you need to exclude people from a internship program. So that's where I was going with it in the video. A lot of people didn't like it. Some people liked it. It is what it is. I feel like that's the fairest way to do it. Duke 28, Clemson 7 last night at Durham. That game was something. So, fan, it was pretty wild. I don't remember what the score was, but I remember Duke put it on them there at the very end. No doubt about it. Let's see here. Say Kyle says the NBA absolutely needs more diversity. No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm not getting into all that. That's there's plenty of political channels out there. You can go listen to Vouch or the Quartering or somebody like that. I'm not getting into politics tonight. Let's see. I'm out. Have a good evening, says Roush number 1. What's up, Roush number 1? Glad you checked in for a minute there. Howdy from Kazakhstan. Harvick got screwed, says Robin Marks. Yeah. So Rodney Childers did come out and speak up about what happened. So 15 seconds they had to decide whether or not to pit or whatever. Know in the pits whether or not they had made it past the red light or not or made it past the yellow line before the red light came on. So him not knowing what had happened, he just gambled. He was going for the win, which I like. He was going for the win, so he went ahead and pitted him, just hoping that they had made it on pit road past the yellow line before the red light came on. So Rodney Childers or the spotter, now you got to remember, they don't have the benefit of instant replay like we did at home. So neither one of them knew whether or not Kevin Harvick had actually made it past the yellow line before the red light came on or not. So they just went ahead and did service, because they knew that would be their best shot at getting the win. So I actually respect the decision. A lot of people questioned it. So that was the reasoning behind it from Rodney Childers. So I thought it was pretty cool that he cleared that up. I feel like Austin Cindric is a NASCAR bust. He won the Daytona 500, and after that, hasn't won anything in 2022 or 2023. I wonder what Penske is going to do. they'll probably give him several more years to figure out what he wants to do, since his dad pretty much runs Penske Racing. So I think he's going to be there for quite some time. Denny did the right thing and is finishing out his career with the guy who gave him the opportunity. He'll move to team owner after, owns his own. He owns a championship to JGR, says E. Damon. Owes a championship to JGR. So, yeah, he probably wants to finish out his career with JGR. If he's fortunate enough to get a championship, he probably wants to celebrate it over there. And because, he probably looks at Joe Gibbs as basically giving him his whole career. So if he can win that championship, that would be something he could give back to Joe Gibbs. And obviously, JD, he's obviously just a big, he was a big JD guy. JD's the one that put him on there. So let's see here. Voppel running the Spire truck at Bristol. Hey, that's awesome. Like, I knew he would get some opportunities eventually. Cars Tour champion last year, and I think he's close to getting another one maybe this year. In between the lanes, or he's at least in the mix for it. I haven't looked at the Cars Tour points. It's probably either him or Butterbean. It's probably like one of those two. Hey, Baloney Burger, did you see Ron Capps' Toyota GR Supra funny car and his tribute paint scheme? I have not seen that. I have not caught up on that one just yet, so I have to look that one up when I get off of here. I cannot see Gibbs or HMS ever selling fourth charter, though I do believe NASCAR could force 3 charter cap on teams, says Shy. Yeah, that's probably the most likely scenario. I think capping it at 3 teams is fair to everybody because it brings some new blood into the sport, and teams can't just hog up all the charters. So, because that's basically what's going on with these guys that have 4 charters. They're never going to get rid of them. How many viewers will NASCAR lose if Hamlin wins the championship? Probably none as anything other than a pawn. So, and that's why I said the interesting part about that is how badly Ford wants another team. That basically lets you know that there is a Ford team that is leaving Ford. That's what it tells me. And obviously, the most fingers are being pointed at SHR. So to me, it basically verifies that when SHR's contract is up with Ford, they're gone. I do believe Daniel Suarez was not wrong in the incident with Bowman. I believe Bowman was wrong. Yeah, Bowman was not. I don't know what Bowman was thinking. Like, you're racing for 20-something position and you're throwing blocks like that. Some people don't even throw blocks like that for the leads. I just don't get what he was thinking there. Mark Barnum, I will still watch, but I don't like the outcome, says Shaw. Robin Mark saying, howdy, partner. Shaw. Ron Caps 22311 says in between the lanes, and he's going to be driving a Ford. Aiden Fritz says, hello there. What's up, Aiden? Good to see you on here. About time to go mobile for me. I'll be listening in the fast forward on the highway. Says Glockopus. I thought you drove a Toyota. Maybe that's your wife. Maybe she's got the 4Runner. Let's see here. Napa race fan John Force to Hendrick Motorsports in a 5th car as a one-off. Says Napa. John Force is going to bring Oldsmobile back. He's going to drive a GM electric Oldsmobile hybrid. So yeah, there you go. There we go. We've offended everyone now. I said hybrid and electric in the live stream. All Harvick had to do was not actually stop. Says Shop played it safe. Yeah, but he still would have started like 5th or 6th, and we saw how hard it was to pass for the lead. So I think Rodney Childers just took the ultimate gamble there, and it just didn't pay off for him because, like I said, he didn't know at the moment whether or not they had made the red light or not. When in doubt, play it safe. Do not stop, says Shy. Yeah, so I think he was going for the win. I have no problem with what Rodney Childers did. He was going for a win, and I'll never fault the guy for going for a win. No matter how crazy the strategy, at least he was going for the win. That was one of the fastest yellows in NASCAR history, says Chadwin Park. That is a good point, Chadwin. I have not even thought about that, but they damn sure got that yellow out pretty fast. I will agree with you. I really had not thought about that. Good point, Chadwin. Napa Racing fan, nice, LOL. Says, in between the lanes, still Napa Racing fan, nice. NASCAR likes to throw yellows as soon as possible, whereas IndyCar takes forever to throw a necessary yellow, usually due to pit strategy. Both are very frustrating. NASCAR can be hesitant on the trigger sometimes as well, though. Matt Hagan to the 10. There we go. We're just going to take all of SHR's drag racers and put them over there at Stewart Haas Racing in between the lanes. Maybe we can put Brittany Force in the Project 91 car too. While we're at it, why not? As long as it's a road course, because we want it to be as different as drag racing as possible, so as many turns as possible, and we'll get Brittany Force in there. Hagan wouldn't. Oh God, the Hagan hate. The Hagan hate is real. Hagan wouldn't fit through the window, says Mark Barnum. Now Leah Pruitt in the 10, says Napa Racing fan. I tell you what, Leah Pruitt would probably bring more sponsorship than a lot of those dudes will. Bob Tasca the third to the 21 for the Wood Brothers. Hey, there you go. Doesn't Bob Tasca run the Motorcraft car too? Let's see. Erica Enders in a third. I'm not super familiar with drag racing. That's why I'm asking. That's a legitimate question. Erica Enders in a third RCR car. So there you go. Now we're getting into people who I don't even know of. John Forrest would not make the first turn, just drive straight into the wall, rolling on the floor, laughing, says Shaw. But once he wrecked the car, Shaw, the interview of him talking about wrecking the car is going to be one of the highlights of the race. No doubt about that. Bumblebee, what's up? Good to see you on here. Any movement on the Fiat? I'm going to drive up to take a look at one tomorrow, wise guys. So hopefully tomorrow we at least get the purchasing process going. Mark Barnum says, hey, EB, what's up, Mark? Antron Brown, the 2311 says, Napa Racing fan. Bruce Garvey, listen to Bowman's comments on Suarez makes me think he is starting to feel some pressure for the lack of performance this season. Yeah, he definitely seemed like super upset over like literally nothing, especially getting flipped. Like Dale Jarrett had the best comment ever. Alex Bowman talked about getting flipped off by the crew chief in the airport, and then Dale Jarrett was like, "Dude, if you're worried about getting flipped off in the airport, you would have had a hard time driving in the 80s and 90s." And that was like a killer insult from Dale Jarrett. So I don't know. The announcers going in hard on the drivers there. These last couple weeks, I guess I should say. Kyle Petty on Bubba Wallace, and now Dale Jarrett going in hard on Alex Bowman. Bumblebee said, hi, Shy, I'm here. I want to set up early deer feeders and surveyed around the lodge with Daddy today. I'm tired, says Bumblebee. Cody Ledger or at Bristol/Dover. Disappointing that it's looking like Zane likely won't get the number 21. The Dex dollars Harrison provides matter more. I think Zane Smith's going to the 10 car. And if he doesn't go to the 10 car, I think Ford puts him in the 21 car because Ford is the Motorcraft sponsor. So Ford wants to sponsor the 21 with more money and want to put Zane Smith there. He'll be in the 21. Either way, Zane Smith's coming next year, but my big guess would be the 10 car. Venison says Shop. In between the lanes, yes, Lindenberger, Bob Tasca does drive the same scheme as the Wood Brothers Cup car. Hey, there you go. I kind of knew something, but even though I really didn't. So there we go. I thought that's what he drove, but so I feel good about it now. I'm retaining knowledge in my ancient age. Let's see here. J.R. Todd to Gibbs. There you go. Another Toyota driver there. EB will be looking for venison care package, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. Mark Barnum wants some deer jerky and some barbecue deer. And what else? What else is good? Deer stew. There's all kinds of deer. I'm gonna be like if I knew more recipes, I would be like the guy from Forrest Gump. Let's see here, Bubba from Forrest Gump. Mark, she's got your back, Mark, according to the emoji. How do you think RFK and the rest of the Fords will do Sunday? I think RFK is on a roll, one wise guy. I think you can't count out RFK. They've gotten hot at the right point in the season, so they could easily surpass any expectations. Burton deserves to come back. There's been more than a few races. He's had great run going this year, and I got screwed like Sunday night. Exactly. The big loser in that was Harrison Burton. He had a top like 18 going, which I know that sounds crazy, but for Harrison Burton, that's good. That would have been something to build on. He was in the top 18. He got taken out because two guys had a pissing contest. And both of them got their nuts wet. Let's see. Deer Roast says, Shah, if the field is frozen at the time of caution, shouldn't you be allowed to get back in your position if you drive through the pit lane? You would think. So I don't know. Like it was a weird situation. Like I said, Rodney Childers was going for the win. He was hoping they had made past the yellow line before the red light came on. So he was going for the win. Yes, you would retain whatever position you get. Damn cell service just got bad out and about. Catch the replay. I'll check you later, E. Damon. Thanks for hanging in there as long as you did, though. Busher, Final Four going to happen, says Bumblebee. I don't know about Final Four. I think he gets to the Final Eight, though, maybe. Roofer going, what's up, Roofer? Good to see you on here. No sponsor on the entry list for Deegan in Kansas so far. The lack of performance is catching up with her now, says Mark 63. I don't know. She seems to be as well funded a truck driver as anybody I've seen out there. So I don't know. EB, love to see him but she has not had the performance. I do agree with you there. Love to see him as champ. Mark, backstraps and biscuits, yes. Easy. Let me say this: Bologna Burger during the week. Denny Hamlin drives the FedEx truck. Well, he needs to be driving the UPS truck because apparently they make like 100 on average. They now make $177,000 a year. So maybe he needs to switch and drive the UPS truck and fund his ride. I don't know. That was a crazy number to me where I live. That's a lot of money where I live. I don't know. So good for them for getting their money though, because they do the job that gets everybody their products and packages where they want to get them. So they negotiated that well. Hey, Roofer says Bumblebee, Final Four, the 6, the 8, the 12, and the 19. So like dislike has got Bad Brad, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. I've got Ryan Blaney going first round, and Martin Truex Jr. Yo-Yo EB48 says Roofer, any notable entries on Sunday? I can't think of any off the top of my head. Deer Sausage says Eric Amarola, Whataburger scheme looks good for Sunday, says Bumblebee. And pierogies, says Shah. Hocevar in the 42 again. Hey, so there you go. Hocevar might fill out the year for most of those races. He's had the best run in it so far of anybody that's been in that car this year. 8 KFB, your 2023 champion, says like dislike. Now I'm hungry, says Shah. Anthony Leach says, hi, what's up, Anthony Leach? One of those RFK Fords are going to make it. I did talk about it earlier, Anthony Leach, if you missed it. So what you asked about at the very beginning. So let's see. Hocevar, very impressive in his first 2 Cup starts, says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, Hocevar is definitely talented. He really reminds me a lot of Ross Chastain, just taller. Carson Vaughton, and without the watermelons. He needs a proper victory celebration. Carson Voppel has a truck ride, says Anthony Leach. Yeah, for sure. Somebody came on here earlier and said he's going to drive the Spire car. That's actually really cool because I'm glad to see more Cars Tour guys get opportunities because the Cars Tour, to me, is one of the toughest touring divisions, and that's complete bias because I helped some cars on that at one point. Denny asked for, as recently as this year, Denny asked holes in the fire there. Outback Steakhouse is sponsoring a truck this weekend. Says in between the lanes. Yeah, that's I can't say the guy's last name. Anyway, he works at an Outback Steakhouse, and it's a great story. He also drives random touring series cars here and there, and he got Outback to sponsor him from a tweet that he put out. I can't say his last name properly, but I don't know. Let's see here. Was heartbroken last night. My favorite little pool player went all the way through the Texas Open and got double dipped in the finals, says Mark Barnum. It happens sometimes. I blame Tyler Reddick for Kevin Harvick's misfortune, says Joe Sample. Yeah, it was a bonehead move from Tyler Reddick. There's no doubt about that. What's worse, Reddick's incident that screwed Harvick or Bowman blocking Suarez? What's worse? I would have to say Reddick having a bonehead moment right there is probably worse because it cost Kevin Harvick a really good opportunity at winning the race, whereas Bowman and Suarez were racing. They were going to finish 15th to 24th, somewhere in there. So they weren't really racing for anything prestigious. Neither one of them are in the playoffs. So I would say Harvick probably got the worst end of those exchanges. Did you hear that NASCAR dropped their racial requirement for their internship program? Good. I mean, that's what they should have done. Now they need to make it an even playing field for everybody, because I think if they make it an even playing field, you'll still get the same results that they want to get. I think if you give enough people the equal opportunity to get there, and I've said this earlier, I'm just restating it for you. If you give everybody the equal opportunity to get there, it's going to organically change anyway, because it's just not all going to look the same if you give everybody the exact same opportunity. Let's just put it that way. What was Tyler doing, says one wise guy? I don't know, because there's no way Tyler Reddick was going to make the pits there at all. There was just no chance it was going to happen. Can we discuss how dumb what Reddick did was? That was almost a really bad situation. Yeah, he literally brake checked on the straightaway. I have never seen that happen in all of the racing that I've been a part of. I've never seen somebody actually brake check on the straightaways. That was interesting. Like dislike says hit the like button. So yeah, if you want to hit the like button, that would be much appreciated. Kevin Harvick was the last driver to have the Outback Steakhouse sponsorship. Says in between the lanes. Yeah, him and Ryan Newman had it for a while there. Ryan Newman, when he left, I guess Stuart Haas, Kevin Harvick picked it up. So yeah, but really cool. I can't remember the guy's name. I know he's got a weird last Mason Maggio. It's not Mason Maggio. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. Let's see. T-Van says, what's up? Riddick brake check was race manipulation. It can definitely be argued that it was race manipulation, except for the fact, I think, in his mind, he legitimately was trying to get to pit road. It was just such a bonehead move. Bowman is the major bonehead, says Glenn Filler. Yeah, Bowman's move wasn't like literally any better. It just didn't cost as much because it didn't cost for a race win, and it wasn't between guys in the playoffs. No more free blooming onions on Mondays if Harvick scores the top 10. I just got in. Yeah, that was the bomb back in the day, by the way. I just got in that poll. I got to say, no way. Denny is nuts for not going with Ford, says Roofer. So Ford, Roofer wanted him to go to Ford, and he said, he said, what's up to T-Van? Ryan Newman got the 51 car, some airtime by putting up a fight, going further laps down, says Mark 63. Yeah, they even gave him a shout out. They said, he's made that 53 car look as fast as it's ever looked. So I was glad that Newman got a good shout out there. I was glad Rick Ware Racing got a shout out as well. Underfunded team. Roofer Money Talks at the end always says Bumblebee. Whatever happened to Austin Wayne Self since he used to drive the 22 Ford F-150? That truck was the Outback Steakhouse sponsorship this weekend. I don't know what happened to him. I couldn't tell you. Hi, y'all from North Idaho. What's up, Cassandra? What's up, North Idaho? Bowman has a Bubba Wallace moment, says Glenn Filler. I'll talk, when Bubba Wallace chased Kyle Larson down the track. So yeah, he definitely blocked all the way up the track on Daniel Suarez there. Stupid Roofer and Bumblebee saying what's up to Cassandra. I'd like to see Jade Avadazen, I cannot say that name either. I get a shot at a truck. She has won 5 outlaw races this summer. So yeah, I've heard about. I haven't seen her drive yet, but I've seen her name popping up and floating around. So she must be doing pretty good over there on dirt. One wise guy also saying what's up to Cassandra. Napa race fan. Any other trucks NASCAR could do a double header at besides Richmond? NBC will force NASCAR to take a 2-week break for the Olympics in 2024. And you know what? I think that's actually probably a good idea because most people are going to be watching the Olympics. I know not racing fans, but you get what I'm saying. Most people will be watching the Olympics. So it'll actually help the ratings in the long run. Brett Griffins, who coach South Carolina in between the lanes. So yeah, they got beat by UNC, I guess. I guess that was a big deal. I don't know. I feel like UNC is ranked higher than them, so I don't know why it was as big a deal. I guess it's just I don't know that that's a rivalry, but maybe it is. Let's see. I can't wait to hear Brett and Freddie suck up the Denny about Reddick incident this week, says Cody. Yeah, they give certain drivers more leeway than other drivers, so it'll be interesting to see how they play that one out. I didn't even realize Ryan Newman was in the race, says Joe Sample. Yeah, he was driving the old 53 or 51 or 52, one of the Rick Ware cars. And he was giving it a heck of a run for a Rick Ware car. Steven, and I can't say his last name right. Is it? I want to say Mazzoli, but it's not. It's not Mazzoli. Is it Maliosi? I don't know. And I'm sorry I got his name wrong. I've never heard it pronounced. But anyway, he's the dude with the Outback deal. Thank you, Bumblebee, because I couldn't think of his name to save my soul, and I can't say it anyway. So even if I thought of it, it wouldn't actually help me. But yeah, I knew, and I get him confused with Mason Maggio because both of their last names start with M. But he works at an Outback, and he made a post about working at Outback, and also that's what he does as a job, and also works on his race car when he gets home. So Outback saw that, and they gave him the opportunity to race this weekend. So it's a really cool story. No Hamlin should have gone out of NASCAR completely, says Raymond Bailey. So Raymond Bailey, not a big Denny Hamlin fan. I hope Newman is at Talladega, says Mark 63. That would be cool. I don't know if Ryan Newman wants to be at Talladega, though, if he doesn't have to be running for points. Wood Brothers should go get Grant Enfinger. Grant Enfinger, he definitely has earned a ride. I guess he won't get one because of ageism. Let's see. Well, at Bristol, says Bumblebee. So it's not this weekend. It's at Bristol. I just saw it pop up. The ride had happened. So I thought it was this weekend, but it's actually going to be at Bristol. That's pretty cool. Let's see. If Chase Purdy and Jack Wood aren't at KBM, who would you want to see in the rowdy Chevy Silverado RST? Oh, man. Well, Carson Voppel would have to be one of them. Who else does Chevy have in the development pipeline? I mean, honestly, I'd like to see Ty Dillon in there. Like, I want to see Ty Dillon get back to something that he can actually win in. So Ty Dillon and Carson Voppel would actually be just, if I can pick anybody who I'd want to put in them, like those would I think be the best two fits, in my opinion, in my perfect world, universe, whatever. That's if Ty Dillon would actually go back to the Truck Series. We don't know that he would. Wallace ran the most respectable race I've seen him race. Maybe he is learning how to be a cup racer, says Glenn Pillar. Look, Bo Wallace has a ton of talent. There's no doubt about it. He rubs people the wrong way with his personality or his political opinions and stuff like that. But you can't take anything away from the guy. The guy shows up, and sometimes some races he looks like he's absolutely unbeatable. Other races you can see him get frustrated, and he'll try to drive a little bit over his head. And that's what I've always said about it. He is super streaky. He can either look like the best thing since the race car was invented, or he can look like he's never drove a race car. He's very much to me like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He can either look really good or he can look really bad. He's just super streaky. If he can figure out a way to get more consistent, like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has done this season, he could be someone to watch in the future. Are you going to get Tyler's 45 diecast from Darlington, the blue one, says OG and Toothpaste? Although it's a good-looking car, I don't like UNC, so no, I will not get that one. Let's see. Looked up Save Mart 350 tickets today, and the date. And I know you were just today, and the date is still to be determined. Thinking it may get moved up to the spring. Yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting when NASCAR releases the schedule here in a few weeks. I vote yes for Green Sonoma, says Napa Racing Fan. I mean, it makes sense to put all of the West Coast races together from a travel standpoint because the drivers and teams can just stay out there, and the truck drivers, it would still suck for the truck drivers because they would have to navigate back and forth. Can NASCAR switch Daytona over from a speedway course fast enough to do a doubleheader? Oh, that I don't know. They switch it over at least pretty quickly because back in the day when they had speed weeks, when there were when it was speed weeks, they switched over from the 24 hours of Daytona to the NASCAR track fairly quickly. So I'm sure if there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure if they busted their humps, they could definitely get it done. I don't think that would really be a huge situation. If Deegan ends up at Sieg Racing and Xfinity, she'd have to run her dad's 38 right. That would be pretty cool. I hadn't even thought about that, Mount Hunter. That'd be pretty cool for sure. Daytona is laid out, and she still rocks the 38. Like on some of her older gear, she was still the 38. So I think she'd be okay with running the 38. Daytona is laid out in a way an RC Oval doubleheader would work, but they'll never do it, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah. I don't think they'll ever do it either, but it would be something really. That would be like more of a spectacle. Bubba is like Hamlin; they tend to beat themselves. Emotion, says Shaw. I could see that, and that might be why they sort of get along, or why Denny Hamlin picked him. Might be part of the reason he might have saw some a little bit as far as that goes. He might like the fiery attitude or whatever you want to call it. I like Bubba. I just remember him in the Busch Series. Says Stupid Roofer. I remember him tearing it up in the Truck Series. I thought he was really good in the Truck Series, and I became a fan of him there. So I thought anybody that can go win Martinsville, to me, that's a driver. Drivers that can win at Martinsville, you can never take anything away from those dudes because they're absolute drivers. So I've always thought he's got a lot of driving talent. Let's see. Rajah Caruth is getting better. 16th place finish at Darlington is pretty good in a underfunded ride. Yeah, he's another one. He's another one you could throw into the hat over there to get a KBM ride. Rajah Caruth certainly has a lot of talent. He's won several races at Hickory in a late model. Winning a late model race at Hickory is pretty difficult. Landon Huffman, if you follow his YouTube channel, he'll tell you all about it. Caruth winning several races up there. That was actually pretty impressive. So I think he's a pretty good driver too. Throw his hat into the ring over there at KBM. Since Ty Dillon's probably more unrealistic. So Rajah Caruth and Carson Voppel would probably be a pretty good mix over there as well. They should bring back. They should bring the field to a 42 car field. Bring it to a 42 car field, says Joe. Yeah, I would like to see a 42 car field again as well. Kevin Harvick with the Sunny D car says in between lanes. Yeah, I did see the Sunny D car. Bumblebee sent it to me. So yeah, that car definitely looks really good. It's got strong Ricky Stenhouse Jr. vibes without a doubt. Let's see. You Betcha Joe says Roofer. Primetime Colorado Buffs. Hey, so there you go, Colorado. Deion Sanders has got the Colorado Buffaloes back in the mix. Let's see here. Would love if Sieg's team got a lot of backing from Ford. Says like dislike. I think if they got Haley Deegan, they would. OJ Buffs will be shucking Cornhuskers this Saturday, says Mark Barnum. I know Ford may be looking for more teams, but if I was a Ford team, I would be worried about the amount of money they're going to spend in their F1 engine. I could see $500+ million on that engine. I mean, Ford's done it before. Ford roughly knows how much it costs to do an F1 engine. They've, I want to say they've got one of the winningest F1 engines. I think they're like third all time in F1 wins. I might be wrong about that. I'll have to look it up again. Don't take me at my word for that. But I want to say at one time they were like third in all time wins in F1. Parker says the 2024 Brickyard 400 is likely. What about a fall Charlotte Oval return? Wouldn't have to wait until next TV deal to put the fall race back on Oval again. I missed the Bank of America 500. Yeah, I think Kyle Larson let it slip in Victory Lane when he said, "Yeah, and next year we're going to be racing at the Oval in Indianapolis." At least that's what. And then he stopped for a second and thought about what he said, and they said, "At least that's what I'm hearing." So he caught himself, but I think Kyle Larson basically just let it slip out of the bag in Victory Lane, or actually, I should say that we'll be racing the Oval next year. So I think that's a pretty fair bet. Montreal should be the first race after the Olympics break. Says Matt Hunter. That would be pretty cool if they're going to go to Montreal. That's still as of yet not official. I don't think. I don't think KBN has a fourth full-time truck next year. Lane Riggs, Rajah Caruth, Grant Enfinger, and all-star truck for Voppel, Kyle, and others. Hey, I like where you're going there, Cody. That's a pretty solid team. Lane Riggs is another one. He's from the Cars Tour as well. Actually, a local kid from Bahama, North Carolina. It's spelled Bahama, but they pronounce it Bahama. So he would be another good pick for that truck for sure. I always expected the Charlotte Roval to be a short-term novelty anyway, says Napa. And that's what I'm saying about these. Just flip them. If you did them like every other year, it would still have some novelness to it. While they did reduce the number of cars, why did they reduce the number of cars in the field, says Shop. Your guess is as good as mine. I guess they got pissed off about the field fillers. Would be yes. F1 Ford Cosworth, I believe, says Cody. Yeah, I think Ford is still up. Like I think they're in the top 3 of wins in F1. Like you guys can look it up, but I think I'm right about that. But I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm by far not an F1 expert. Charters, from my understanding, says Shah. Not so fast, my friend. Bologna Burger. I miss watching Motormouth on NBC Sports Network, but at least I see it on Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. Yeah, so that's the good thing about that. You can still check it on YouTube. Let's see. Shaw says, well, that's the reason to make more charters. And one more reason, I think charters are lame. I agree. The charter system, although it helps the teams out, it's not good for the fans at the end of the day. So it is what it is. It's a double-edged sword, double-aged vodka. Let's see. Vodka's not even aged. Double-aged whiskey. The Ford DFV F1 engine was devolved by Cosworth. And used by every team except Ferrari. Last normally aspirated engine to win in F1, says Bruce Garvey. Same here, Shaw. They canceled NASCAR America Motor Mouth, the fan call-in show, 1 year on Peacock, and got axed. The NASCAR's YouTube channel no longer has backseat drivers either. They have inside the race now, says Napa Racing fans. So that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Jeffrey Earnhardt is a big question mark. Mark his plans next year, says Mark 63. So, yeah, Jeffrey Earnhardt's another one you can throw in the mix to go over there to race at KBM. I think as long as he's got a quality ride, he'd be up for that. I thought maybe they reduced the field for short tracks. I always thought 42 cars was a lot for short tracks. I couldn't honestly tell you. I just feel like after the Carl Edwards situation went down, I feel like NASCAR really just started – and probably before the Carl Edwards situation went down, I just feel like NASCAR just started sticking it to field fillers and guys that are not going to win a race unless it's like a rain delay situation like Justin Haley did in the 77 for Spire. So whatever reason, they became public enemy number one, and NASCAR was eating high off the hog in that particular era. No more money was ever coming into the sport than when NASCAR started making these crazy, irrational decisions of trying to get rid of field fillers. And it eventually led to the point of where we've got I guess, the charter system now, and now you don't have to worry about field fillers because sometimes only the charters show up, and no non-charter teams even attempt to make the race. If you could pick one rid of, what would it be? Playoffs, stage racing, or the charter system? Yes, I would get rid of all of them. I think they're all bad in their own way for the fans. But if I get rid of anything, I would get rid of the playoffs, without a doubt. That Wendy's diecast, did you? Were some nice schemes. I do have the 64. Yeah, the 164. Maybe 1 or 2 days ago. So yeah, I got that one, and I ordered the Rifle Coffee one too because I thought that one looked really good. So maybe that one will come in. If I think about it, I'll put it up here on my desk, so I'll have it for next live stream, so I can hold it up. I'd have to say I did not like the field fillers, but I think there's enough talent and owner desire for 42 cars now. Yeah, I agree. One out of all of them, I'd say the playoffs. I get rid of the playoffs first. You know what? That's a good poll question. Let's end this poll question. 62% said no. That's pretty strong no. I'm going to add a fourth option just to spice things up. Here we go. Which one would you get rid of if you could? The playoffs, the stages, the charters, or Steve Phelps? So there you go. There are your options for the poll question, as inspired by you, the viewer, or whatever they said at PBS, with help from viewers like you, whatever they said on PBS. Mark63 saying Morgan Shepherd running 5 laps and parking. LOL, says Mark63. Yeah. So I guess not only the field fillers, but they started to become starting parks. It became a financial decision just to start a race and then park it, not buying extra tires and all that good junk, all that gobbledygook. I'm starting to think the TV deal won't get done until the start of 2024. I'm right there with you, Napa fan. With the Xfinity to CW announcement, I think so too. With 42 charters, Dale Jr. gets a chance, and it moves wasted talent out of the lower leagues. My only caveat to that is maybe let's go 41 charters and then have at least one open spot for a team that doesn't have a charter. That's my only thing about that. I do still want to have like a team that doesn't own a charter have an opportunity to get in there. Let's see. Joe Nemechek in the 87 is a field filler. I remember most for some reason. Yeah, but he actually won some races too. So that was I don't know. It was a weird one. Let's see. NASCAR, that he chose that route later in his career. NASCAR should make the toe links stronger, at least on the right sides of the cars. I agree with you, Joe Sample. That's a great idea. I wish they would actually get on top of some stuff like that. But for whatever reason, they worry about all kinds of other stuff, like the aerodynamics of the car on a short track. I don't know. Shaw going with stages. 44% right now, stages. Stage cautions got to go. Got to keep stages, but no cautions, says Shaw. Start small, says Stephen Roofer, LOL. The call-in segment of Motor Mouths was a joke. There's an episode where Rick Allen poses as a fan. The guest, of course, exposes him immediately. It was cringe-inducing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes that's up to the director. The director was not on top of his game as far as that goes. That's a toss-up. Playoffs or stage racing, says Roofer. I don't know, man. You can keep stage racing for all I care. But get rid of the damn playoffs, man. Can we get a legitimate champion that we can compare? Not legitimate, but at least a champion that we can compare to other eras somewhat. I don't know. To me, it's no doubt about it. Get rid of the playoffs, but that's just me. Some people enjoy the playoffs, so there you go. I'm not trying to Debbie Downer on your enjoyment of the playoffs if you like them. 41 and open sounds good. Don't mind says Shaw. I don't mind the playoffs, actually. Extra races after the real season ends. I mean, there's definitely a better way of doing it. There's no doubt about it. OJ and Toothpaste says, are you drinking a beer? No, I'm drinking a nice warm because it wasn't properly refrigerated where I got it. What is this? Arizona green tea with ginseng and honey. Let's read. Ingredients: premium brewed blend of green tea using filtered water, high fructose corn syrup because that's good for you, glucose, fructose syrup, honey, citric acid, natural flavors, ginseng root extract, and ascorbic acid, vitamin C. Manufactured for Arizona Beverage Company USA, Woodbury, New York. Good old Arizona, New York. I love it. 2022 Beverage Marketing USA. So there you go. Enjoy America's best-selling, ready-to-drink green tea. Arizona green tea, where great taste and goodness naturally come together, naturally with high fructose corn syrup, come together. Green tea for its health benefits and nature's natural sweetener, honey, but also high fructose corn syrup. It is what it is. Let's see here. That's about the most full of shit like description I've ever heard in my life. Let's see. Don't mind the playoffs. Actually, extra races. I just read about the Triple Crown. Thought you had BB is a good one. Yeah. Why doesn't NASCAR promote the Triple Crown? Like I've never gotten that. Like you have whoever wins the most races. That's one leg of it. You have who wins the regular season title. It adds value to the regular season title, and you have the playoffs. If somebody wins all three, like Kyle Busch, and I think Kyle Busch has done it, and I think Kyle Larson was the other one to do it. So there have been guys that done it. And I think Martin Truex Jr., the year he won, I think he did the same thing. So I think there have been three people that have done it. So you would have like three. I would have to look at it. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think there's been three people that have done it. A call-in show for the sport would be great, but I agree. Better execution and more time for actual fan calls is needed, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, so all you have to do is have somebody that filters them out and get somebody that's not, prank calling like Howard Stern and all them used to do back in the day. Just have like a bunch of people filtering them out and get people that have good opinions or whatever. They're at least on topic, and I let them in. It wouldn't be a hard show to do for somebody with those type of resources. Sheldon Creed running the number 78 Chevrolet ZL1 1LE this weekend at Kansas. That's going to be pretty cool. Old Creed getting some action in the Cup Series. That's always a bonus. Playoffs for me. Get rid of it, says Roofer. So yeah, we do have a poll question. Do we keep or get rid of the playoffs? Oh my God, no green tea, says Shaw. That crap will kill you. The tea still 99 cents. It is still 99 cents. There's no doubt about that. They will not change that. It's one of those things like the Costco hot dog. The price will never change. They're still 99 cents here, says Roofer. They are still 99 cents. They are for sure still 99 cents. This is the only motor. I would have paid a full $1 though if this one had been refrigerated properly. This is the only motorsport where you could win 35 races and finish second or fourth. You could still finish fourth. You could win 35 races and finish fourth in the 36th race and not win the championship, says Bruce Harvey. Brickware Racing should go down to one charter and have the second part-time car for drivers like Jensen Button. If they want more charters are needed, even if Spire 77, Brickware Racing's and Live Fast charters were revoked. Yeah, they definitely need to do something about getting new teams into the sport. They need to figure something out. They either need to get really serious about revoking charters or something. Stage racing is silly. Hamlin finished 25th at Darlington and got more points than the fifth place car. Fair enough point, John Irby. I'm not going to argue with that because that's not a bad point. There's been many times where Austin Dillon finishes in the top 10, and there's like 5 or 6 people that score way more points than him that finish like way lower. So I mean, it's just one of those things. It's almost pointless for Austin Dillon to show up at the end of races like he does, and then there's people that score more points than him. You can't points race anymore. You just have to go for wins. I've said that for a long time, and he's just the only example that pops out of my head because he's the only guy I can think of that'll run bad like all race. Then you look up at the end of the race and you're like, where did he come from? How did he get the like 10th or whatever? Like every like 5th or 6th race, or at least he used to. This has been a terrible year for him. So bad example this year. But you know what I'm talking about. In the past, you're like, how did Austin Dillon finish 8th? Let's see. Stage racing is silly. Hamlin, I just read that one. Playoffs also provides 20 plus field filler. Says Brickyard. That's a fair statement too. You got 20 field fillers, and that's something that NASCAR wanted to get rid of. They definitely need to make a regular season championship that means something. Says I agree with you. And my Triple Crown idea would do that. I despise the playoffs. Harvick 2 years ago, says Roofer. It's gotten a lot of people. Look at Chase Elliott last year. Chase Elliott by far had the best overall season and did not win the championship last year. Charters aren't going away. I say if teams I want to lock up secure charters, give them to them, but add more charters, 40 to 42 charters. So if you have 42 charters, here's my deal. Why not have 56 charters, and some of those charters are in the Xfinity Series, and the last 4 charters that finish the bottom 4 in points, you're relegated to the Xfinity Series, and the Xfinity Series best 4 that have a charter move up to the Cup Series. You can still run Xfinity with no charter, but the teams that have charters in the Xfinity Series get to move back up. Sort of like the English Premier League soccer deal. Let's see. Oh, dear God, no. Green tea and Costco hot dogs. So healthy, says Sha. One counters the one counters the other, says Sha. So there you go. Chop the number of points races back to 32. Cut the playoffs to 4 races. Maybe. Or make the championship 4 a 4-race deal or something like that. I think there's all kinds of ways you could go around it. I would finally like to see Dodge come back in and Tony Stewart have his own team with Dodge, Joe Sample. I think it was probably really close to happening, and I think this is what got SHR in the hot water with Ford. I just feel like SHR and Ford have been beefing for like a long time now. A long time. Ever since Tony Stewart was told no on getting Kyle Larson, I feel like the relationship has just gone south with SHR and Ford. I like your idea on the charters. Makes a ton of sense, but won't happen, says Napa Race Fan. Anytime it makes sense and you're talking about NASCAR, it's typically not going to happen as far as stuff like that goes. But it makes the most sense in the world to have a charter, and then you have to actually earn your way into the series. Now, you're guaranteed to make every race, but you still have to do well. You can't just go out there and cruise and make laps. So I think it would be the most optimal thing you can do with a charter from NASCAR's perspective, instead of trying to get rid of it after giving them to the teams. Like what's the point of giving the teams the charters if you want to take them away? That is the most NASCAR thing NASCAR has ever NASCAR. That is just, I can't tell you how dumb this whole entire situation is right now. So I don't know. Get rid of charters and have like it used to be with provisionals, says Escobar. Yeah, but then they would have to get rid of charters, and that's the thing that's holding up the whole deal right now. NASCAR doing something that makes sense is snowball's chance in hell, says Shaw. I agree with you. I don't love charters either, but I can't ditch the systems when it's been in Cup since 2016. Too much money put into them. Yeah, I agree. Like, NASCAR invented them, and now NASCAR wants to take them away, and you're just not putting that genie back in the bottle. NASCAR needs to clean house on their CEOs. I gave you the option. Steve Phelps is in the poll question. Speaking of the poll question is up. Which one could you get rid of if you could? Which one would you get rid of if you could? The playoffs, which is leading 35, it's tied right now, 35% with the stages, 35%. Charters are at 23%, and Steve Phelps is at 8%. 26 votes so far. Let's see if we can get to 50 votes before we sign off here. Let's see. I would like to see NASCAR heavy street race in Orlando, Florida. That would be pretty cool. An Orlando race would be really cool. Then people will start complaining that Florida has too many races like they do about North Carolina, even though North Carolina has Charlotte and Wilkesboro. Wilkesboro fairly new. Let's see. At least new to the schedule. It's the execs that are ruining the sport. I agree. We just need to speak up. NASCAR is definitely watching this channel, says Steve Roofer. I don't think NASCAR is watching this channel. They could care less about me. Let's see. If you get rid of charters, the teams will go broke and have no value. I don't disagree with you. It's a system that NASCAR created. Like, NASCAR never had to bring charters in. So I don't know what they thought they were going to gain here, other than NASCAR literally created their own union for the teams to unionize against NASCAR. That is literally what NASCAR did there. So whatever. Stuart Roofer going with the playoffs. NASCAR shot itself in the foot with the charters, says Decoy. There's a rumor going around that NASCAR is going to make that LA Coliseum race into a points race. Boo, says John Irby. I don't know that they will ever make that a points race, but if they did, it would be an absolute poo fest. Like, everybody would be getting wrecked. Not that they don't now. Get rid of road courses as well, says Roofer. You can't get rid of all the road courses. You have to still at least keep the two, Sonoma and Watkins Glen. Shaw says, true, their woke leadership sucks, says Anthony Leach. I don't even know what woke means anymore. It just means so many different things to so many people. BB, should they make the Coliseum in LA the last race of the season in the playoffs, championship race? I don't know about that. But they could make it an exhibition race that maybe they could add more exhibition races, I guess, if they wanted to add more races. I know I just asked you this before, but what was the Wendy scheme you planned on getting? The one he ran, I guess, at Daytona, the very first one. So the one where it says Wendy's, we got beef. We got the beef or something like that. And I do got it. It's in the other room. I don't want to be a douchebag streamer and get up and walk to another room and go get it and then come back and y'all got nothing to look at. We'd like to see NASCAR look into some races doing multiple averages for qualifying. I'd rather just be a regular douchebag streamer. We'd like to see NASCAR look into some races doing multiple lap averages for qualifying. That wouldn't be necessarily the worst idea. Just get rid of qualifying and have practice. That way practice means something, and then people could tune in for practice. Practice would be longer than qualifying, and it would still have some. It would still have something to keep you in there to be like, oh, who's gonna go out last and try to get the pole or whatever in practice. So I think that would be good. Oh yeah, you were on their radar, BB, says Roofer. Well, maybe, I don't know. If NASCAR wants to make wins so important, then give the winner an extra 25 points or so and stop. And win and you're in, says Bruce Garvey. Get rid of the group practice and qualifying, and their practice and qualifying would be perfect. I don't love the top 10 shootout necessary, but it's fine. I mean, the other option for qualifying is this. You just show up and have a heat race. You have one heat race for the inside row, one heat race for the outside row. And whether you're racing for the inside or outside row, that's determined by, just picking a name out of a hat or something like that. Keep the Glen and Sonoma, says Roofer. Got to keep Sonoma for sure. So that's what I'm saying. Originally, I thought good, awakened minds, but seems to be utterly closed-minded mentality now, says Shaw. It's one of those words that has morphed over the history of its use. Rick Ware has also sponsored drag racing teams in the NHRA. Yeah, Joe Sample, good point. He's got his hand in a lot of different motorsports, to be totally honest. He's had an Indy. I don't know if he's still got an Indy car, but at one point he had an Indy car. He had an IMSA prototype type car, the drag racing car, the Cup car. So he's dabbled in all of it. I don't know how many of those teams are still active. Can you pull up the numbers for Kansas? Let me see here. Do I have that stuff pulled up right now? I might. Let me take a peek here. I don't know if the internet's going to hold up today. Yes, here you go. Your average finish at Kansas, your top four are going to be, to no one's surprise, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, and William Byron. Alex Bowman is actually good there. Ross Chastain is next on that list. Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon. So I guess Austin Dillon would be your first surprise. Your next surprise is going to be right below him in AJ Allmendinger. Then you got Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and of course Bubba Wallace is right there as well. I think he won that one either last year or the year before, but I think he won it last year. So let's see. Shaw says, but I digress. Skip qualifying. You start where you finished the week prior. Says that pretty much worked for the shutdown year or whatever you want to call it. The car owners wouldn't like heat races. Torn up race cars would be an issue, says John Irby. Well, they could fix their race car drivers from doing stuff like that. Seems to work out for the duels at Daytona. Usually the duels at Daytona are fairly tame. Every once in a while there's a stupid wreck, but for the most part it's toward the back of the pack. Road course number would be fine by just flipping Indy and Charlotte back to ovals. In my mind, have 5 Glen, Sonoma, Coda, Road America, and Montreal, maybe Daytona, the road course in that schedule. Yeah, you could do it however you wanted to. I would like to see Coda get another opportunity, or Road America. So if you had 4, I guess that would be my 4, but I wouldn't have any, basically more than 4 to 5. Let's say that FedEx leaves Denny Hamlin. I don't think they're going to leave him, but I think you're going to see a sponsorship model similar to what you saw this year. Who do you think steps up as the main sponsor for James Dennis Allen Hamlin? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but curious your opinion. I think Interstate Batteries will be the one that steps up there. Interstate Batteries stepped up this year and sponsored like all 4 of the Joe Gibbs cars. So I feel like Interstate Batteries, whenever Joe Gibbs really dig deep, although apparently they didn't want Kyle Busch for some random reason because he didn't stay there. I feel like Interstate Batteries, they need to steps in. They seem to have a really good relationship with Joe Gibbs. They've known since the very beginning of Joe Gibbs racing. So I feel like the ties there are pretty strong. So that would be my first guess. Just take all new tech and go back to racing system of the 90s, hit the reset, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Hey, there you go. Just call it new tech and take it back to the 90s. Joe Sample, Anthony Lease is laughing at what you had to say there. We should have Ukraine sponsor a NASCAR team. They have enough money to do it, says Joe Sample. I'm not getting into politics. You can. There's plenty of YouTube channels that do politics. I'm not getting into that stuff today, guys. I agree. Napa says like dislike. Hey BB, would you consider having a guest on the show, a driver, a crew chief? I think that they would agree with this chat. Says Roofer. We would just get them in trouble, but yeah, I would be open to having them at some point, maybe in the future. When I figure this whole deal out a little bit better, maybe we can have a guest on. I would love to do it, but and not necessarily even a Cup driver. There's all kinds of good personalities. I think that would have a lot of insight that you guys will be surprised to hear. BB, they should bring back Wiz Khalifa to do the Daytona 500 pre-race show and the command to start engines. Yeah, I don't mind that. I thought he where did he put on a concert at the Coliseum in LA, and a lot of people seem to like that one. A lot of the younger generation seem to like that one. Just got to spread the 5 road courses out. I agree. They need to spread them out. They have them 2 bunched up together. I personally don't mind back-to-back road course races, but maybe Sonoma in March, Coda in April, Montreal in June, Road America in July, and the Glen in August as an Napa Race fan. I think that would be a fair way to do it. That's probably the part of the reason why people don't like the road courses. They're all grouped together pretty near each other. They need to make a Denny Hamlin Coca-Cola diecast as well as the Mavis Tires and Brakes regular version. I know they made the race win versions from the angle. Says in between the lanes. I'm actually highly surprised they haven't made a Coca-Cola version. That did surprise me. Is there a playoffs on Earth 2? Says like dislike. Absolutely not. There is no playoffs on Earth 2. Just as an example, says Napa Racing fan, get Rowdy for a guest. Says Shot. I'll tell you what. Let me get him on the phone real quick. I don't know Kyle Busch, so I don't know. I don't know that he would come on this show, but if I ever run into him, I'll ask him. Rowdy will speak the truth. Funny Joe, but we try to keep politics out of this channel, my friend, says Roofer. I might be able to pull a guest, says Roofer. I mean, there you go. I would just have to figure out how to do the dual screen thing with my setup. I think I could pull it off. I just need to practice on the backup channel that nobody knows about, that nobody will know about. Start promoting Rowdy energy drink, BB. Kyle will follow. I actually used to order it back in the day when I worked at the factory. I ordered Rowdy all the time. I got the apple and the key lime cherry. They were or cherry lime or something like that. Cherry limeade. Those are the 2 flavors I got back in the day. The Mavis color scheme is butt ugly, says John Irby. Yeah, I like yellow and I like green, but for whatever, that shade of yellow and green does not go together. What are you doing with the second studio, says one wise guy. You'll have to see. You'll have to see, my friend. Let's see. Andretti Autosport. Right now, it's just serving as for me to be able to film videos when I'm actually working my regular job. Becoming Andretti Global now, probably because of their pursuit to be in F1. I love to see Andretti team in NASCAR, though, if possible. Let's see, says Napa Racing fan. I don't know how close that Andretti Autosport deal is to getting done in NASCAR, but I feel like they're really pushing hard to get F1. It's really going to be interesting to see if they pull that off. Shah says, lose the green tea crap, LOL. Sorry, I just hate green tea. Gives me the squirt. Says Shaw. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. On that note, I'll take another sip. Nothing makes you want to quench your thirst than talking about the squirts. Napa Racing fan, Denny Hamlin should have a Domino's pizza car. Hey Hamlin, nice PJs. Says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, the Denny Hamlin PJ commercial was pretty cool back in the day. Let's see. Are there any schemes? The Toyota sponsor fire commercials, I guess, when he was in his pajamas or whatever. Are there any schemes you see during the race, BB, that you want to potentially become a diecast that haven't been offered? Well, there was 2 that were offered, 3, 4. So they had the throwback Petty car from Darlington earlier this year or last year, where it was just all blue, where they threw back to Lee Petty and Richard Petty when they raced each other. I put an order in for them. Both of those got canceled. It was last year because it was Ty Dillon and Eric Jones. Both of those got canceled. Then I put in the one for the Gain car and the Tide car, and both of those got canceled. I was able to get the Tide car via like a different packaging, but it's pretty. I don't know. They offer stuff and then they I don't know. They cancel it. It's been very frustrating. I'm done ordering it through NASCAR though. I can tell you that right now. Are there any schemes you see? I just read that one. Late to the party. Have we celebrated the Duke win yet? We did. We talked about the Duke win at the top of the hour. So yeah, for sure, we put it on Clemson. Probably the biggest win in Duke football history to date. Shaw, TMI, not TMI. I was just having a joke with you there, my friend. You can say what you want to. Let's see. I think BK would hang with this chat, says Roofer. Brad Keselowski seems like a pretty cool dude for sure. Napa race far too mature for this audience though, or at least for the host. Napa Racing fan 927. That was a good commercial. Says in between the lanes. I'll see if I can work my magic, says Roofer. Help get the NASCAR brand out somewhat to a mass viewing population. I like the ad too. Says Napa Racing fan. I'm still mad at Brad K from the Edwards feud, says Shaw. Will NASCAR playoff documentary on Netflix be a success? Hopefully it'll be a success. I don't think anything will be as popular. F1, for whatever reason, the Drive to Survive, I don't think anything will be that big anytime soon, but hopefully it gets at least decent ratings. But I'm slowly getting over it, says Shaw. Best hot dog, BB, Costco or Wiener Schnitzel? The best hot dog is the Hebrew National. I like the Hebrew National hot dog. I think they're the best, but that's just me personally. So yeah, I'm gonna go with them. It's the front cut of the cow. There's no gross stuff in it, so I like the old. And they have the rabbi pray over it, so it's good. So yeah, I'm going with the Hebrew National as my favorite all beef hot dog of choice. The real Mavis was in the old home bread commercials. With C.W. McCall, old home filler up and Trucking Cafe is 17 miles from me, says Mark Barnum. BK is a Giga Chad, says Shaw. Do you think Junior Motorsports will be in Cup by 2025? I'd like to see him and his team up ship. Says one wise guy. I think it all hinges on the TV deal. I think as soon as the TV deal gets done, that's going to determine how long it takes Junior Motorsports to get into the Cup Series. I'm still salty about Kyle Larson. Mellow Yellow Diecast says like dislike. Me too, man. Like I wanted that car really bad, and I also wanted like a little action figure of Kyle Larson with the wig, like the Kyle Petty wig. Like that's a bummer. So I'll tell you another diecast that was really hard to get a hold of, and I should have ordered it when I had the chance. With the William Byron City Chevrolet number 24. Where he threw it back to Days of Thunder. That's another one that's almost impossible to find. And hopefully in the future, somebody in the Cup Series gets a Hardee's sponsorship and does a proper Hardee's with actually Hardee's on the car. A Hardee's number 18. I guess it would have to be a Joe Gibbs driver, but maybe Ty Gibbs for one of the throwback races gets the number 18 Hardee's, gets Hardee's to do a deal with Joe Gibbs Racing. I'd like to see that car as well. I really want JRM to have a Cup team. I do too. Napa Race fan. Maybe 2025 is it. Looks to me like the next TV deal won't get done until the start of 2024. Agreed. So I'm thinking 2025 probably lines up. The current deal from 2015 to 2024 was signed in July of 2013. Hi, BB. For the poll, I say all of the above, says Chrome Diesel. Hey, there you go. I'm with you on that one, but if you could only pick one, you got to pick one. And I'm picking the playoffs. BB, would you say a Chevy SSR? Would you buy a Chevy SSR truck, says OJ and Toothpaste? Dude, you know I'm weird, so 100% I would buy a Chevy SSR, and I would park it beside a key truck. Like if I had all the money to spend, I would have so many like just random weird cars. I would be like Rutledge Wood, except some of those cars would actually be fast and mean and would get driven and beaten on. They wouldn't be like trailer queens. So I don't know. Let's see. If we want NASCAR to change, we simply have to go on strike as viewers. No watching for 1 year. I mean, yeah. But what am I going to watch? I don't know. I would get so bored, man. Got to pick one. Chrome, says Roofer. I cannot do it. I'm addicted, says Shaw. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what would happen. Rutledge Wood has some cool Toyotas. Says one wise guy. Yeah, actually, my favorite are those little micro vans that he's got. Those are pretty cool. He's actually some real Hot Wheels cars. I actually want to check that out. I'm going to let all the episodes come out so I can just binge watch it. But that looks like that's going to be pretty entertaining. Rick Hendrick also sponsors the Pro Stock team in NHRA. Greg Anderson is the driver of the car. It is called Hendrick Cars, of course. So there you go. I thought I had seen one, but I couldn't really remember. I need a PT Cruiser with a Hemi in it. BB says Mark Barnum. It will be a PC Bruiser then. Isn't that when you do a proper motor swap with them? I think they call them PC Bruisers. Dustin Walker going with the Nissan Cube. Nissan Cube is definitely a cult classic. I think that's what they call them. Shaw says Mark Barnum, hell yes, hoser. So there you go. The PT Cruiser, I did not hate the PT Cruiser. Like a lot of people like hate the PT Cruiser. I didn't hate it. Even the ones that they put flames on, it fit that car. That car was just for crazy people, to be totally honest. What about the Honda Civic Si? The Honda Civic Si is the best daily sports car you can own, OJ and Toothpaste. Or a Ford Raptor, probably the best daily truck you can own, as long as it's the V8 version, not the twin turbo V6. Even though the twin turbo V6 is faster and all that, I don't want to worry about two twin turbos. I'd rather worry about the third spark plug on the V8 that I can't reach. Let's see. In between the lanes, when I go to the auto show, Toyota has a NASCAR show car and truck. Lexus has a show car of their IMSA race cars. Ford and Chevy don't do that for whatever reason. So, yeah, it just depends on, like, racetrack. And I'm sure it's the same thing with auto shows. I remember last year when I went to Martinsville, Chevrolet was there, but Toyota and Ford weren't there. When I went to Phoenix, Arizona, Toyota had probably the nicest display of all their cars. And Ford had their setup. Ford's was nice. And then Chevrolet had pretty much the same setup. So Chevrolet has probably the bigger setup. Toyota has the most cars, but it's more contained. And Ford only has like 4 cars. But the Ford focuses more on having their drivers there because they had throughout the whole day, Ford had just people rotating in and out, doing a guest conversation type show. So Ford kept drivers rotating in and out. Chevrolet did a pretty decent job. But Toyota, I never saw any. I'm not saying they weren't there. I'm just saying, me personally, I didn't see them. Now, obviously, Toyota has fewer drivers, but I didn't see any. I didn't see Toyota drivers up there talking. So they all do their own thing in a different way. But it just depends on what car show or racetrack you show up to as to who's going to represent. And then at Daytona, Toyota had a big setup at Daytona for the 24 hours. Toyota had a big setup there. I don't think I saw any. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I saw anything for Ford and Chevrolet. I don't think I saw anything for Chevrolet. So I think it was just Toyota at Daytona for the 24 hours. No, I take it back. If you went to the infield at Daytona, Cadillac, it wasn't Chevrolet, but Cadillac for General Motors, I guess. Cadillac had their stuff set up on the inside. So I take that back. It was Cadillac at the 24 hours, but it was on the inside. If you go to the 24 hours of Daytona, all the stuff you look at is on the inside of the track as far as that type of stuff goes. Let's see here. Now that old man has rambled and gotten off track, Roofer says Holy Balls 426. Mark agreed. His retro painted microvan is awesome, says Wise Guy. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about, man, because that thing looks really sweet. I like the lines on it. The paint job definitely makes it. I agree with you. PC Cruisers were gangster, says Shaw. Hey, there you go. PC Cruiser Nation, what's up? We should have made that the project car. No, we're not going to retroactively do it because I'm pretty close to closing on this Fiat. They're both Mopar, though. Mopar or no car. So there we go. We're getting the Fiat. One of the most fun sports cars you can drive. There's no doubt about it. The Type R is probably, I guess, the ultimate daily driver sports car. The SSR was better. 27 says Roofer. I like the SSR too now. I'm definitely not hating on the SSR. Had a PT Cruiser once just to repair and sell it. It was a convertible. It looks funny, says Chrome Diesel. I mean, they're not for everybody. I like them though. PT Cruiser convertible sounds weird. Never seen one. Oh, they made them. They had a bar in the middle and everything. It was a sight to behold. I'm sorry your eyes have never been able to take those in. I sat in Martin Truex Jr.'s car this year and Kyle Busch's car last year. Oh yeah, so they do have the cool thing where you can take pictures in the cars. I don't think Ford had it, but I know Chevrolet had it for Kyle Larson, and they had it also, and they've had it for Chase Elliott in the past. I think it's just their most recent championship driver, and I definitely saw Toyota had 3 cars there. This was in Phoenix. They had Truex, Hamlin, and it was Kyle Busch actually. Kyle Busch. Snoop Dogg should make a NASCAR team like Michael Jordan. That would be pretty cool. I'm old school OG. We cruised 60s Plymouth gangsta style 4-door, rolling in my 6'4". That new Ford Lightning truck in flat black looks good. So there you go. Pack them in, baby, says Shah. PC Cruiser was even a worse version of the Plymouth Prowler. Let's see. Watch for Fiat. They blow head gaskets a lot more, even with low miles, says Joe Sample. Yeah, so Joe, that's part of the deal. When we originally did this, it was going to be a Yugo. But I was like, I can't keep a Yugo on the road, but I've got a fighting chance of keeping a Fiat on the road. So that's part of the challenge. You got to keep it on the road. Not a lot of car companies, the auto show in recent years says in between the lanes. Okay, I got like 35 races to get in, top 20 for a winner takes all, no holds bars race at the Coliseum for the championship. I mean, there you go. That'd be one way of going about it. Sonoma never has Ford or Chevy. It's always Toyota on display, says one wise guy. Do you do fantasy football, BB? And are you excited for football? I am excited for the football season this year. I got Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback, and we do a 2-quarterback league, and I've got Lamar Jackson as my other quarterback. So I'm feeling good about my chances this year. And my league is not happy with me for drafting like that. And then I accidentally thumb picked Joe Burrow, so I got 3 quarterbacks. So I'm gonna have to trade either one of those quarterbacks for a running back, because when I big thumbed Joe Burrow, it cost me my chance of getting a decent running back. Anyway, let me jump back to this. I like fantasy football. I do like NASCAR fantasy, but I don't really follow it. I won NASCAR fantasy a bunch of times, so I just stopped playing it. I feel like nobody took it as seriously as me, but that's where the driver average from. That's actually how I found that. Driver averages won me a bunch of NASCAR championships in fantasy. The PC Cruiser with wood grain goes hard. In the hood, says OJ and Toothpaste. Hey, wood grain with the leather seats. Windows so dark you need a flashlight to see me. I think that's some Master P. I think that's who's saying that one. Drop top PT Cruisers all over California, says one wise guy. Yeah, I like an old PT Cruiser. Roofer, I appreciate you, man. There's the link to the merch store if you want to help out the channel. One time went to the auto show, saw Martin Truex Jr.'s 78 Toyota Camry XSE from Furniture Row. There you go. Yeah, and also at Daytona, if you're like, there's like a, what do you call that thing? An escalator. And as you're going up the escalator, it's got all the Toyota cars coming down, like they're coming down the banking. So Toyota's got a big presence at Daytona as well. Last year's Pocono race, Chevy was there. Elliott's car was on display, then the black ZL1 Camaro and metallic red Corvette C8. Yeah, so at Daytona in the walkway, they had like 3 or 4 Chevrolet cars, 2 of which were the Chevy ZL1. They didn't have any Corvettes up there. But yeah, the actual display was for Cadillac on the infield. That Mustang GTD is nasty. It is pretty nice. The GTD is insane, says Shy. Yeah. So if you haven't seen the new Mustang GTD, it is basically just a race car you can purchase. It's pretty filthy. Seahawks play the Rams Sunday. It's going to be a good season. I think you guys have a good chance. I agree with you, wise guy. Why does anyone like Ron Fellows anymore? Is he a criminal or something? Says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, he was trying. He was you know who Chris Hansen is, right? So Ron Fellows is he's one of those people that Chris Hansen would catch. I'm not trying to get flagged for saying words here. Nice BB, you got 2 good quarterbacks, says OJ and Toothpaste. I got Jalen Hurts and Justin Jefferson for my first picks, says OJ. I like your strategy there. I'm never into the NFL. Used to watch Super Bowls at parties, not anymore. I would watch college football when Penn State is on TV, says Chrome Diesel. So yeah, there you go. Growing up a Duke football fan, I just one of the guys that I first worked for, he was a graduate of Tennessee. So I just pulled for Tennessee and Oregon. I pulled for Oregon because they had Donald Duck on their helmet back in the day. So I pulled for Oregon and Tennessee because Duke football was just so bad back in the day. So that's like my 3 college football teams that I pulled for. Let's see. What beer is better, High Life or Rolling Rock? I like High Life better, personally. But most of my friends prefer Rolling Rock. Follow Emily Campagno on Instagram. She has 71 Mach 1. She built, it sounds mean, says Mark Barnum. Oh, there's a Gotham City Garage or something. Candace Constance or somebody. She's an engine builder. You should check her out on Instagram. She's a really good engine builder, and I think you would enjoy that. I got his hand caught in the cookie jar on TV, says one wise guy. Says, I guess we're talking about who are we talking about? The former Truck Series driver Ron Fellows. Yeah, he's not a good dude. CFL is better than the NFL. Let the hate pour feed me, says Shy. Well, their balls are definitely bigger, Shy. That was the T-shirt back in the day, right? The CFL, our balls are bigger. Not a stick and ball sport here as well, says Roofer. NFL is like USA beer. Football hate, says Shy. None of it compares to rugby. Let's just be honest. Kurt Busch actually drove a pro stock car. Anyone in the NHRA events and qualified well and won a couple of rounds, says Joe Sample. Yeah, when he was doing his off tour or whatever, he did some drag racing and he became pretty competent in it. Bring back beer war at NASCAR. I miss the Coors Light, Budweiser, Miller Lite presence in NASCAR. I do too. It's a bummer that they're not there anymore, but it's just the world we live in, unfortunately. I miss the old Miller High Life Bobby Allison number 12 gold car Buick. I thought that was the best looking one. And then a Sterling Marlin with Coors. That was the best looking Coors car. Although special mention to Bill Elliott when he won the Winston Million. That one was a good one too. That's the golden version of Sterling Marlin right there. Let's see. The best Budweiser car. That's a good question. The best Budweiser car, probably most people would go Dale Jr. I was always more of a Terry Labonte. I like Terry Labonte's Budweiser look. That was probably my favorite Budweiser car. But without question, the best light car was Cale Yarborough, the number 11 with the gold, white, and blue, navy blue. I thought that was the best Busch Light car. So there you go. I missed the Miller Lite number 2, so the Blue Deuce. A lot of people do miss the Blue Deuce, that's for sure. Our field is bigger, hence the bigger balls, and you only get 3 downs, says Shy. You think any NFL teams need a quarterback? Because I think Austin Dillon and Tony Stewart are available, LOL, in between the lanes. That's funny, but Austin Dillon was actually a minor league baseball player, so he would probably be better at baseball or something like that. Small strike zone for Austin Dillon there as well. Ray Keselowski, all-white Miller Lite car in 2014 was so BA, says OJ and Toothpaste. We play in frigid conditions, says Shaw. So does Minnesota, though. So, I mean, like, you got some teams up north that play Buffalo, Minnesota, even though Minnesota's technically in a dome. NBC would hate this one. My name is Earl is greater than The Office. Facts. Like, that's not even like, I thought you were going to write something controversial, Napa. You're just stating facts at this point. Let's see. Stupid Roofer going with Harvick there. BB, you like the Harvick Busch car. I always thought the Cale Yarborough one was way better looking. Although Kevin Harvick brings a better modern spin. I agree with that, but I always thought the Cale Yarborough one looked the best. BB, you have a post office box for people that want to send you stuff? I do. Let me see here. I don't remember it off the top of my head. Everything's going to fall. There we go. There's your preparedness. So there you go. All right, there you go. That was that. Let's see. We play in frigid conditions. Who's favorite on Earth 2 right now, says one wise guy. And actually, somebody sent me some T-shirts, and I forgot to mention them the other day, so I need to get on that. I got some really nice T-shirts from Texas, and I don't have the person's name right in front of me, but I wanted to thank him, so I'm going to do that on the next live stream. Who's your favorite on Earth 2 right now? BJ McLeod's taking it on Earth 2, no doubt about it. Yeah, Earth 2, we got to discuss this, says OJ and Toothpaste. Earth 2, we're racing for second place. BJ McLeod has locked it up early in Earth 2. We're worried about who's going to finish in 10th and who's going to get the most wins on the season. Northwest PA here says, Roofer, when the field freezes, we just strap on skates, says Shaw. What kind of schedule we're going to announce on Earth 2 next year, BB? Any insights? Well, definitely we're having the Mario Kart Rainbow Track. That's coming. At least 3 races and 4 different configurations of that. Figure 8. Definitely going to do the Mario Kart Figure 8. Ty Dillon will go back-to-back. I don't think so. I think BJ McLeod's going to get him this year. Who gets the 300th win for HMS? I think Byron does it. I think it happens at Bristol. That's the only prediction I can make. I think it happens at Bristol, and I think it'll be one of the 4 Hendrick cars. Could I be more vague? I don't know. Byron has as good a chance as anybody, though. Sentimentally, OJ and Toothpaste is on it. I think Chase Elliott gets the 300th. Sentimentally, Chase Elliott, just because he's having such a bad season, that would turn his season around because he gets the 300th win at Bristol. So you could see that happening. Well, I make promises on this channel. I'm going to bring BK to this channel, says Roofer. Don't go out of your way. I still have to figure out how to get people on here. I'll have to figure out how to FaceTime him or something like that, I guess. Hopefully he's got an iPhone. So I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Or maybe, I don't know, hook up maybe like another computer. Well, if you get it, if you do it, I'll try to figure out a way to make it happen. BJ McLeod will win 5 in a row next year, says OJ and Toothpaste on Earth 2. That would be like that's almost like a step back for him on Earth 2. I don't know. I need to get a BJ McLeod shirt. I need to find one. Ty Dillon versus BJ McLeod on Earth 2 all day, every day, and it's the battle we want to see. I worry Bristol will be lackluster to conclude this so-called round of 16, says Chrome Diesel. Bristol will be okay, but not fantastic. I hope Bristol's a good race. That's all I can say about it. I don't think they fixed the short track package yet, but I'm really hoping that they do. Also on Earth 2, don't you think we should have like a track that's a mix of concrete, tarmac, dirt, and gravel, and a joker curve? That's got to be one of the tracks on Earth 2. Are you racing this weekend, says one wise guy? I've actually got the weekend off, so I'm actually just going to visit some friends hopefully this weekend and try to reintegrate into society for the few off weeks that we have. So when it gets close to Christmas time, I'm not the weirdo sitting in a corner because I don't have racing friends to talk to because I don't know about anything else at this point in my life. I'll help you through it, BB, says Roofer. North Wilkesboro gets a point state in 2024. They might. Does Wilkesboro get a point state? I think they do. I'm just trying to figure out where they're going to slot stuff in. But I do think Wilkesboro gets a point state, and I'm going to be interested to see where the all-star race goes. I miss the old Bristol back in the 2000s. Me too. I think everybody does. BK probably has every tech thing you can swing. BK is a tech giga Chad. Submarines, airplanes, space tech, says Shah. The dude is awesome. I agree. I like old BK. His father-in-law we race against him or his car every once in a while. Lewis White, he races. I think he used to race at Southern National, but he has somebody else race his car from time to time. It's always the number 7, and it always has probably the best Ford crate motor you can get on the planet. But that thing always has plenty of motor. That's what I'll say about it. And when you see that car show up, you know you got somebody to beat right there. Heard Brandon Brown is becoming South Austin Speedway GM. Yep, I did hear that. Chrome Diesel, I'm not going to lie to you. I heard that about 2 months ago. But I just couldn't say anything about it. That one I did know. I just couldn't say anything about it. BK still has me hostile over Edwards, though, says Shaw. So Shaw still in the next drag strip at Charlotte. Fastest time is the winner. If Wilkes Point State rocking Earth 2, we're racing Z-Max, no doubt about it. We're doing a down and back at Z-Max with all 4 lanes. If Wilkesboro gets a Point State, Rockingham definitely should get the All-Star race in. That's what I'm thinking might happen, Napa. It's Kyle Larson, young, but they're just not as good as BJ McLeod. So they're like up-and-comers on Earth 2, but still legendary. They're the people's champs of like Earth 2. I have to zoom him, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, bring back Rockingham, says OJ and Two-Face. Earth 2 should make Sonoma a dirt track with bananas on the track. No doubt about it. I mean, is there any other way to go? On Earth 2, Sonoma, the track is rubber and the tires are made of asphalt. If you get BK as a guest, I cannot promise I will not be slightly hostile toward him. I'm sure he's used to it. We'll see. Let's not promise anything here. I'm not the one promising I'm getting BK. Let's scale it back a little bit. I don't want to overpromise something. I'm not involved with it. That's on you, Roofer. I'll get BKBB. I'm good at what I do, my friend, says Roofer. So we'll see about it. Do you think the truck series should race at South Boston because trucks used to race at that track in the early days? I would love to see a race at South Boston. I'd love to see a race at Hickory. I would like to see NASCAR take one date like they did with Bristol and just rotate it around old school short tracks like that. Let's see. Do you think the truck series should race at South Boston? I just read that one. I'll get BBK. Trucks should be more grassroots like they used to be. I think they're starting to go toward that route. At least the last time they were talking about it, that's what they were headed to. Kennedy was thinking about doing that, but don't need to race Kansas 2 or 3 times a year. I agree. One time at Kansas is probably good enough for the trucks. OJ and Toothpaste, BB, do you wear Crocs shoes? LOL. Funny story about that OG and Toothpaste. The guy I worked for, Craig Moore, he was giving his son a hard time about wearing Crocs. Now, don't get me wrong. I made fun of grown men wearing Crocs too because that's the age I am. I know the younger generation guys wear Crocs all the time. It's not a problem. But my generation, if you wear Crocs, you get made fun of because that's just what we did. So once he started giving his son a hard time about wearing Crocs, I bought the exact same pair of Crocs that his son had. So I wore them with his son in solidarity because his son just wasn't having it. So I just wanted to let his son know he could wear whatever shoes he wanted to. So I do have one pair of Crocs, but that's the reason I have them. And everybody's like, oh, they're comfortable and this, that, and the other thing. I've got a really wide foot. To me, they're not comfortable. My foot cannot spread all the way out in those things. And so to me, they're not super comfortable. But if you take them to the beach, at least they float. So I guess that's the one good thing I can say about it. LOL, that's all on me, says Roofer. Does Nashville Fairgrounds ever return to the NASCAR schedule, says Napa Racing fan? I think it does. I think it returns probably sooner rather than later. Just warn BK about me, so he's not surprised I have questions, hard questions that must be answered. He really made me mad, says Shaw. Still can't believe Carl Edwards, Marty Reed didn't get suspended for flipping Keselowski at Atlanta. Carl Edwards Jr. / Marty Reed didn't get suspended for flipping Keselowski. I don't know. It was a different era back then. Favorite Kansas race you've ever watched? Probably Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch. Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch going for the win. I think that was Kansas, or was that Kentucky? I think that was Kansas, but I'm not sure. Perhaps a payback for the 09 Talladega, says Chrome Diesel. Reed couldn't remember Jarrett or Petrie's names either, says Napa Racing fan. Have to loop the loop on Earth 2. You have the Hot Wheels loop-de-loop, at least the double, right? Yeah, for sure. I firmly believe Edwards left racing because of the BK thing. I think he left racing because they screwed him out of a title. In his opinion, screwed him out of a title with the Tony Stewart deal. Shaw, nah, he's all right. You're going to be surprised. Reed couldn't remember Andy Petrie. LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, old Marty Reed, man. I do remember him, but he did. I do like him, but he did piss me off. So Shaw having a battle with his mind right now. He's like, I like him, but he made me mad this one time, and I'm still trying to get over it. I like him, but he made me mad, really mad. Like, I get it. Let's see. I get it, Shaw. Reed was bad in IndyCar too, says Napa Racing fan. Poor Marty Reed, man. He's just trying to put food on the table. Kentucky was the Busch Brothers battle for the win. Oh, it was Kentucky. I was thinking that was Kansas for some reason. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at some Kansas races. Probably, has Jamie McMurray ever won at Kansas, or Clint Boyer? Somebody that actually lived there had a pretty emotional win because they got a hometown win. I want to say it was Jamie McMurray, or maybe Carl Edwards. One of the Missourites. I believe Edwards left because of stage racing and had enough of being screwed by the. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's the playoffs. He never liked extreme gimmicks. I'm with you on that one. I laughing my butt off about mad, but I like him. Marty Reed, Ricky Stenhouse is living large, laughing my butt off. I think reasons Carl Edwards left had to do with Suarez and that conspiracy. I don't know about that. Good points, folks. I'm feeling better. I'm healing. Thanks, Shaw. Or Marty Reed. Can you hear that hammering when Jimmy won? LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. Kurt Busch won Kansas in 2022 with the Jordan brand. Oh, okay. There you go. There we go. I've got that somewhere. Where that one at? Oh, I got that somewhere else. Oh, I know where. I got it in the living room with the other car. So yeah, I've actually got that race win. It's one of these. So yeah, for sure. I forgot that was the Kansas race. So there you go. I am like an elephant, says Shaw. He remembers everything. Reed can't drive in Montreal either. If anyone remembers that from the nationwide race there, I don't remember that. Hopefully it's not beverage related. Hopefully he didn't pull a drunken Brian France. But let's see. Take a few more questions and then we will hop off here. Best Kansas race was when Junior hit the wall. Says Mark Varnum. I don't know about that. BB, you good at bowling? I ever got a 300? I'm not good at bowling, but I like doing it. Have a good night, says Chrome. Guys, on the next one, and awkward pause.